In the last 19th and 20th session, we talked about the virtue of preparation. Today, let's proceed to talent, the seventh virtue of navigatorship. The keywords of talent are money, wisdom, reading, immersion, digilog, professional, culture, and glocal. In this session, we will talk about talent, money, and wisdom. 1. Talent, skill and ability to do something. 2. Finance, various things related to money. 3. Wisdom, a mental ability to recognize the truth of things quickly and handle things correctly. 4. Reading, reading a book. 5. Engagement, the state of consciousness that people feel when they are deeply involved in an activity. 6. Digilog, combine digital and analog. 7. Expert, a person who has a great deal of knowledge and experience in a field. 8. Culture, a valuable form of life and expressive system that is shared by human society and is enjoyed by its members. 9. Glocal, pursuing localization with globalization. Kwang Mo Yang said, not trying to find hidden talent is like storing a parcel without unpacking it. We must check what God has sent us. Do not worry about lack of talent. In life, talent is more important than career. It is the same ballpoint pen, but writing on a note paper makes it a graffiti. Writing it in a diary becomes a diary, and writing in a paper makes it a script. John Maxwell said, those who move the world have never had much talent, but rather have less power and maximize their abilities. Talmud said, there are 3 things that hurt a person: agonizing, quarreling, and empty wallets, among which an empty wallet hurts the most. Raphael said, a person who hears carefully, questions wisely, answers quietly, and does not open his mouth when he does not need to speak is one who realizes the most necessary significance of life. Winston Churchill said, when a useless idea keeps coming up, read the book. The unnecessary thought is felt by the leisurely people, but the bustling man does not feel it. We should read good books whenever we have spare time. Professor Bok Dong said, if you invest 10 years in one field, you can join the family. 20 years, you can be a master in that field, and in 30 years, you will reach the level of superhuman. Benjamin Disraeli said, the greatest success in life is to get the chance in a prepared state. Why don't you think about the definition of talent and fill out the table? Stop this video for about 10 minutes until you fill out the table, and start it again when you finish. What are the execution methods for talent? 1. I have a special talent that is different from other people and contributes to society through these talents. 2. I am securing financial independence to the extent that it does not interfere with family life now and in the future. 3. I have wisdom based on my knowledge and experience through learning, and I am giving it to others. 4. I read more than one professional book and more than 5 books in a month to understand trends. 5. I immerse to finish one thing until I finish it in learning or work. 6. I keep digital files, sounds, and pictures in analog format. 7. I have my own brand power as an expert in my work. 8. I respect the culture of other countries, know the culture of my country, and go on cultural trips in Korea and abroad every year. 9. I am a glocal citizen who can communicate with foreigners in English and knows a second foreign language. Write down what talents you think you have now and you would like to have in the future. Stop this video for about 10 minutes until you fill out the table, and start it again when you finish. Write impressive books you would like to recommend to others, and books you want to read within a year. Stop this video for about 10 minutes until you fill out the table, and start it again when you finish. Talent's lexical meaning is the talent and ability to do something. In order to be successful, you must cultivate your own special talents. The innate talent is important, but the acquired talent is also important. If you constantly think and prepare, special talents can emerge. In athletes, music, and arts, talent is 90% and effort is 10%. But the important thing is that if you do not make 10% effort, 90% will disappear. Even if you have a lot of talent, only those who sharpen it can feel the power of that talent. People who stand out fight their limitations, except for sleeping hours, with awful exercises and careful self management. There are many talents that are innate, but many are acquired. Nowadays, a DNA test to find out what kind of sports talent your child has become popular among parents, which is an attempt to develop the child's innate talents well. Because talent depends on the individual, there is no need to get talent from other people. You have to find your own talent and sharpen it yourself. It is also said that sincerity wins talent. The glittering talent kneels in front of a steadfast sincerity. The right direction in life is important. You will see success if you are in the right direction and steadily going. Everyone has his own special intelligence. A person who finds it and actively reflects it in his life can get a happy success. This concept is illustrated by Professor Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. According to this theory, the various talents are to be the various intelligences. Professor Howard Gardner divided human intelligence into 8 categories: linguistic intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, spatial intelligence, physical exercise intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, personal intelligence, musical intelligence, and existential intelligence. It is important for everyone to develop his skills because everyone has his own talents. The most important thing about success is to use your strengths in the direction you want. Intuitively based on the following wheel, let's see which intelligence has strengths. After her debut, singer Boa sold 10 million albums in Japan alone, including a full-length album, a single, and a DVD. Considering CF, performance imports, portrait rights, etc. In the sales of albums in Korea and in China, the sales up to now is estimated to be at least 500 billion won. Yuna Kim's temperament for victory is not learned by reading books or lecturing. It does not mean that she has no inherent factors at all. The reason she entered the road of a long, steep figure skater was her willingness and ability to fly on the ice where many spectators were watching. Although she distinguished herself during her junior year, no one could think that the figure skater would be daunting on this barren land. So she might have tried to the end. She has been training and participating in various competitions, leaving home about half of the year. It was a series of times of pain, but the blood and sweat that was shed was rewarded with the title of a national sister. There is an ancient script saying that a talented person is known to others even if they are hidden. At the end of the warring era in China, A prime minister of the Zhou dynasty went to the Chu country to request reinforcements. Mosu volunteered for the selection of 20 attendants out of 3,000 parasitic house guests. The prime minister said, "The talent of a talented man is naturally revealed like a drill in the pocket, but I have not heard the name for 3 years." And Mosu said, "It is because he asked me to put it in for the first time today. If I had been able to put it in my pocket early, not only the drill but also its sack would have come out together." In the end, the house guests were chosen as an attendant, and made great efforts to draw the saviors. Niccolò Machiavelli, in Monarchy, said, "Destiny chooses a strong, talented person with a great strength to pursue a good opportunity for himself." In other words, even if there is a good opportunity, if there is no ability to use it, it means that the opportunity will pass by. We must also sharpen our talents. Talent invariant theory assumes that talent is innate and independent of effort. While some people are successful worldwide by showing their innate talents, there are many people who found talent when they were young, but they could not exert their talents, and finally disappeared after living an even worse life than the normal people. In other words, we can come to the conclusion that talent is dependent on how much it is polished. Talent enhancement theory means that talent can be promoted and successful if efforts are made and developed. Talent invariant theorists think that if goals are higher than their talents, those are hard to achieve. So they lower their goals to suit their talents. These people lack the spirit of challenge. But supporters of the theory of giftedness have higher goals than their talents. They think they can learn something through challenge and failure. Regardless of any theory, a talent must be polished to become your jewel. The dictionary concept of finance has various things related to money. Money is good. Everything has the property of being exchanged through money, so you cannot do anything without money. Everything in life, including food and clothing, education, travel, and hobbies, is valued and determined by money. Even when a traffic accident occurs and compensation is made, the value of the person damaged compensation varies depending on the income. Some people say money is like blood. Just as people cannot live without blood, it is hard for people to live without money. Just as life is preserved when blood is flowing, money has to be exchanged for the world to work smoothly. Mencius's Ang Chan Ang Shin means that to have morality, you need to eat something. It means that you can maintain constant unwavering faith when you have a lifelong job that you can work for constantly. It is important to spend money meaningfully rather than earn well. It is because only the money he spends is his own. If you are poor, your life will be frightened and frustrated, and sometimes you will fall into severe depression. Poverty means extreme humiliation and distress. You must break yourself from poverty by yourself. It is stupid to think of poverty itself as romantic. In the TV program, young children were asked who they prefer more: parents who have a lot of money but who are busy and unable to play well, or attentive parents who do not have any money but who play with them well. Most children answered that they prefer parents with more money. It is said that it was because with money they can live in a good house, eat delicious things, go to play, and make memories. If you have lots of money, you are relatively free. You do not have to depend on others. If you have a lot of money, others will depend on you. Money gives freedom and power. This is a hidden reason why everyone likes money. Therefore, first of all, there must be enough property to find financial stability. A happy and successful life should be accompanied by money, not just spiritual satisfaction but also material satisfaction. However, since most of the conditions necessary for a happy life are those that cannot be obtained by money alone, money is a necessary condition for happiness, but it cannot be a sufficient condition. If income is above a certain level, the relationship between increasing income and increasing happiness index becomes thinner. Most of the big events in the world begin with money. The Chabol's inheritance quarrels and the damage in a considerable amount due to multifaceted fraud also comes from money. Money makes power, but it also produces the poor, the alienated, and the hungry. Money plays not only a bad role, but also a good role. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said he would donate 99% of his Facebook stock, $45 billion, about 52 trillion won. Hong Kong actor Jackie Chung has also donated 400 billion won. There are large and small donations in Korea. Jong-won Lee, chairman of Samyang Chemical, also returned 600 billion won to society. There is no pocket in the last veterinarian. It is a real rich person to return all that they have and leave the world lightheartedly. Do not die as a rich man, but live as a rich man. The obvious feature of the rich is that they enjoy their work. They work more than they receive because they enjoy work, and the rich have independent selves. The independent self should first be economically independent and secondly be mentally independent. Economic independence is a matter of course, and spiritual independence means having the power of independent thinking. The richest people in the world say that reading is the most effective way to increase the power of thought. Li Ka-shing, Hong Kong's richest man, and American legendary investor Warren Buffett say that they have learned insights and imagination through reading since childhood. In particular, Li Ka-shing is a terrible bookworm. He reads books in all kinds of disciplines such as literature, society, philosophy, science and technology, and economics. The rich boldly say that they like money better than anything else. The rich love money more than anything in the world. In other words, they call themselves mammonists without any hesitation. Their lives and priorities are centered on money. So they do not know how anything else rolls in their lives, but their bank books and pockets are filled with money. The basic difference between the rich and the poor is in the way of thinking. The rich are challenging, thinking creatively. The poor think passively and customarily. There are many wealthy persons who make a lot more fortune recovering from failure, after they blew almost all the property in the hand with a single failure. If you want to be rich, you have to change your mind. You can only be rich when you change your thought from its root. Now, the value of the housewives is changing from a wise mother and good wife to a mother and wife with money. It is hard to say that she has done everything she can by teaching her children and managing the household well with the money her husband earns. Housewives are demanded to change from a traditional role of a happy maker to a money maker. A true rich man is a man who has both material wealth and a spiritual mind. Not only money but also mind must be clear. A person is said to be a color blinder who can only see money when he becomes an adult. Money is needed for human life, but becoming color blindness for money is undesirable. A true rich man's appearance is not spending his wealth alone, but using it together with society. Wisdom's lexical concept is mental ability to quickly recognize the meaning of things and process things correctly. Wisdom is bright eyes combined with knowledge and experience. It is the ability to predict the future based on experience and to take appropriate measures. If knowledge is the power of the heart, wisdom is the power of the soul. The greatest wisdom is the world itself. Wisdom is beautiful because nobody can take it away. Joy comes if you do not flee, but dismantle, change, and regenerate yourselves when you face pain and distress. Said Zhang Wandu. You should not flee anywhere. Looking new is the source of wisdom. Minerva is the goddess of wisdom in Roman mythology. If there is Athena in Greek mythology, there is Minerva in Roman myth. Minerva, who loved the owl, made the owl her symbol. So, Minerva Owl means wisdom or philosophy. Wisdom comes from the head, but the warm heart is important. It is wisdom to worry with concern. Simply knowing is knowledge, but it is wisdom to use it effectively for individuals and society. Therefore, knowledge must be transferred from the head to the heart, and from the chest to the hand, so that the social value can be obtained. Knowledge that is practiced by action rather than being merely on the head and chest is meaningful. 30 centimeters from the head to the chest, 50 centimeters from the chest to the hand, 80 centimeters in total is the competitiveness of the learning society. Even those who have no knowledge could be wise, but those who are knowledgeable can make a big accident if they are not wise. A cheater is a representative case. The cheater has a lot of knowledge, but it is even worse because he uses it for something that is not right. Nowadays, financial affairs are the subject of interest. Money is looking for ways to make money. They are in various forms of financial affairs such as funds, real estate, and stocks. You cannot ignore that capital which has been invested raises income. It is true that capital income is more attractive than working income earned by working hard. However, it is also important to have a wisdom tech that creates added value through creative knowledge, although it requires financial technology while living the world. Wisdom tech, which develops knowledge and creativity that you have and contributes to society, is the best source of income. However, knowledge and wisdom are not just obtained but need a lot of investment. It is possible to make wisdom tech so that a fountain of wisdom does not dry up through steady effort and constant inquiry of knowledge.